My name is Alex Breen, and today I'm going to be presenting some published work that looks at the relationships between early to moderate lumbar disc degeneration and intersegmental kinematics. Like I say, this is published work, so if you scan that QR code above with your phone, it will take you straight to the open access version of this paper. Interest in studying this arises from the long-standing destabilization-restabilization theory of Kirkcaldy, Willis and Farfan in the 1980s. This states that early to moderate disc degeneration destabilizes the motion segments, and late-stage degeneration restabilizes them. This theory persists to this day. To study this, we used a 0.5T Paramed open upright MRI scanner to assess the disc degeneration, and a Siemens Acadis Advantix C-arm fluoroscope along with bespoke image tracking software to measure the kinematics. We took 10 asymptomatic adults aged 50 to 71 and studied their discs from L2 all the way through to S1 for disc degeneration grade, and looked at the segmental kinematics using the fluoroscopy, both in weight-bearing and recumbent protocols, as the relationships may exist in one orientation that could not be found in the other. This provided us with 40 intervertebral discs for assessment. We graded MRI images using a 16-point grading system from Yaros et al. We also recorded disc height loss and T2 signal loss for each level. The kinematic variables were flexion, intervertebral range of motion and translation, laxity, motion sharing inequality, and motion sharing variability. Intervertebral range of motion and translation are traditional measures of spine kinematics. Laxity is an expression of the neutral zone that we can establish from the fluoroscopy. And motion sharing inequality and variability are expressions of how motion is proportioned across the spine during a bend, and have recently been considered as mechanical biomarkers for chronic non-specific low back pain. We calculated the correlation coefficients and p-values for all the variable combinations, both recumbent and weight-bearing. Of all the combinations, only one gave a statistically significant correlation, and this was between intervertebral range of motion and disc height loss. It is noteworthy that of all the measures, intervertebral range of motion and overall MRI grade had a similar correlation coefficient, but did not quite reach significance at the 5% level. Both of these correlations, however, were negative, suggesting that if anything, reduced and not increased intervertebral range of motion accompanies early to moderate disc degeneration. Previous studies have investigated this both in vivo, in patients and healthy controls, and in cadaveric lumbar motion segments, and have found conflicting results. From the present study, it seems clear that in people without low back pain, early to moderate disc degeneration is not related to intervertebral stability. This study has now been published in the European Spine Journal, and if you're interested in the MRI grading system that we used, it can be found within this paper, which is open access. I've put the QR code above just here, so you can open up your phone and scan it with your phone camera, and it will take you straight to the website for the paper, or there is the citation just above it. We'd like to acknowledge the support of the Radiological Research Trust and ASG Superconductors for funding this study, and Professor Francis Williams for access to the unpublished grading system that we used. If you have any questions, I'll be in the forum, or my contact details are just here.